Before we get started, we're going to talk a little bit about ourselves, very short, just so you guys know where we're coming from, and what perspective we can give to baseball these days, and just give us a little bit of background. Go ahead, Tyler. You can tell us about yourself.
Yeah, I'm Tyler. I've been a fan of baseball my entire life. Basically, I was a diehard O's fan growing up, and then I kind of strayed away a little bit. I remember back in the day, Jeffrey Mayer kind of ruined my childhood looking back at it.
Jeffrey Mayer, we don't like him.
No, we don't. Tony Tarasco.
We'd love to interview on the show.
Definitely. So, but I mean, for all you people out there remember Jeffrey Mayer reaching out over, he kind of ruined my childhood a little bit with the Orioles baseball back when they were good. I've been a fan of the O's my entire life, pretty much. I did get away from baseball for a little bit. After the strike kind of happened, I kind of got a little upset with the baseball world and just kind of faded away from it. The Ravens had moved to town right around that time, and they kind of took off as an instant success. So they went on to win the Super Bowl and Ray Lewis and all that stuff. But I kind of kept baseball in my heart, and I kind of slipped back into it over the past couple of years, thanks to having a son and getting to coach. I've coached basically from the age group 4 all the way through high school. I've been a high school baseball coach for the past several years. And I did get to spend a little bit of time coaching some girls softball.
And that's always fun.
It's always fun, always interesting. So for all you dads out there that didn't have a son, it's always exciting to see your daughter succeed on the game on a different side of it, just a little bigger ball and different throwing motion. But it's still exciting nonetheless. I did watch the O's growing up on good old local TV like we all used to do before all these major networks took over and made you watch it on their cable TV. But I do remember watching the Braves on TBS when they became cable and all of those amazing players that they had in the 90s.
David Justice.
Are you kidding me? Of all the guys you named David Justice?
I think he was suave, man. He was a stud. He was to me, he was the Michael Jordan in terms of, I don't know, everyone, like, girls knew who David Justice was. It was like, dude, look at that guy. He looked like a superstar.
Girls knew who Brady Anderson was, my friend.
Oh, yeah, we'll get into Brady Anderson.
I've done some coaching for the past several years. I've done some umpiring. I'm a huge fan. I'm a dad, you know what I mean? So I think I can bring some good perspective and good thoughts and ideas from a couple different angles to you on this podcast, and we'll see where it goes and what you bring up and what we can help maybe answer for you and what you want to talk about. So what do you think, Dan? What about yourself?
Well, before I get started on that, we are very, very lucky to have wives that are huge baseball fans as well, and they're also baseball and softball moms. So, ladies, if you're listening and you love baseball, but at the same time it'd be cool to hear a different perspective on that, as much as they would probably hate it because they'd be nervous, we could have them for quick segments on this show just to get a perspective from a baseball mom or a mom who is a fan of baseball. Just to add a little more fun and culture to the show. But so Tyler and I, we both have 10-year-old daughters that play softball together, and they are freaking killers, man. They are good, and they're just getting better. They got attitudes. They're also fragile.
What daughter doesn't?
They're also fragile at times, and being the dad who is the hero, when you have to break their heart, that's fantastic. But listen, I'm straying off. That's a different topic for another show. So I am Baltimore native, and then grew up in Hanover, Pennsylvania, right up the road, snack food capital of the world. My whole life, man, I've been a baseball fan. I've been playing baseball from the time I was old enough to play, whatever that would have been, 5 years old, somewhere around there, and into high school, and I may play a little bit of ball still today. Slow pitch softball. But you know what?
It's all good, buddy.
Regardless,
there's millions of you out there.
Regardless of what it is, it still takes skill. It does. Even though the ball's coming in slow, they're leaving the bat quick.
It is terrifying.
It is terrifying
to be a pitcher in
I
slow pitch softball.
I play with guys just down the road in Carroll County, Maryland, that can kill the ball. I mean, they can hit the ball like 400 feet. It's ridiculous. It's terrifying at the same
It's
time.
definitely scary when you have guys
Yeah.
pitching with hockey, lacrosse helmets on and
Yeah.
field hockey shin
Yeah.
guards.
Yeah, so I'm not putting down slow pitch softball anyway, but coming from baseball, that's always the thing, the thought that you think, well, I play baseball so I can kill a softball. I'm like, no, it takes a little bit. You gotta, it's a lot of transferable skills. But anyway, yeah, I've been a baseball fan my whole life. And I remember my earliest memory was at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore.
33rd Street.
And I was with my dad. I think my sisters were with me, but there were these two drunk guys in front of us. No shirts. I think they were probably wearing cut-off jean shorts and socks hiked up to their knees. I may know too much about these guys. But in between them, they had a cooler of beer. So that really tells you what time we were living in. They had a cooler of beer in a stadium, so they didn't have to pay the, today, $9 beer prices.
We need to go back to that.
Yeah, and I remember these guys were chanting, Eddie, Eddie, Eddie. And I was like, what? I asked my dad, I was like 5 years old. I said, why are they chanting Eddie? And he told me why. And for the longest time, I thought that Eddie Murphy, the actor, was playing baseball for the Orioles. But as I said, my earliest memory, I still remember it like it was yesterday. But yeah, I still play a little bit. I probably watch 100+ games a year. I'm a football fan as well. I did follow the Eagles because that was all that was around. There wasn't a Baltimore team when I first started watching football. But I probably watch maybe half of a football season, except for this past year. But I love it. I can share the perspective. But when it comes to the knowledge of the game, I can tell you all-around knowledge. I can tell you a lot about the Orioles and about the history of the Orioles, and I can tell you all about that. This is not an Orioles podcast. I want to make sure everyone knows that. We have to give non-biased opinions, although it sucks so bad because these poor damn Yankees, especially this year, because although I love the Orioles, I'm not going to pick them as number one in the NL East.
I can't see it happening, man. Unless Aaron Judge and Stanton get run over by a New York taxi or Uber driver. Goodness.
Exactly. So we want to make sure you guys know that.
Guess we shouldn't forget about the Red Sox. That's kind of inappropriately too.
These goddamn Red Sox. But yeah, so
Sweet Caroline.
I feel like it can give some perspective because I've played and I've been a fan of baseball, but at the same time, I'm glad I have this guy across from me because he knows the all-around game when it comes to every team. He knows stats. He knows all this stuff. I'm kind of the guy who is I'm really stretching outside of the box here, out of my comfort zone, just because I need to know more about what's going on in the league, especially if I'm doing something like this. So forgive me if I make some mess ups, just like I just did with my language there. Make some mess ups. Call me out on it. I don't care. My feelings won't get hurt. If I say a stat wrong, if I say a guy's name wrong, I literally have to spell out the way that these names are just so I don't mess it up. So like Shohei Ohtani, I had to spell it out as Shohei. Just so
You're not the only one. Honestly, some of these names are crazy.
Yeah. So, but basically, that's who we are. Our plans for the future with this podcast. We have all the technology for any type of interview, whether it's sitting down right next to us for a guest appearance with some local sports enthusiasts, which I think that would be awesome. I think you guys can get to learn to love some of the characters that we know just in our inner circle. We also we have interviews. We can do it on Skype. We could do it on phone call. All the above, and we want to get you guys involved as well. So if you have any ideas for interviews, you have any ideas for segments, games that we could play on here, like trivia, try to stump our wives or something like that, and try to call them on the phone and see which wife knows the answer.
That could get interesting.
Which wife is smarter when it comes to baseball trivia? Oh, God.
I don't know. I'm not putting bets down.
Yeah, we'll call it Will She Know It?
We can only hope.
And we can have everyone kind of weigh in which one they think will have. Would it be Steph or would it be Diana? So that's basically so many different things we want to do with this podcast. But the main thing is we want to make sure you guys are involved. The other thing is too, going forward, depending on how busy this gets and how much content we can pump out, I mean, it's probably just going to be a weekly episode every week. But it does. The bigger these things get, the more we want to do. With everything these days, there's a cost to it with bandwidth and all that stuff. So we're probably going to get some sponsors, but we're not going to load you guys up with commercials and all that stuff. So we'll try to keep it quick and get back to baseball. So
keep it fun, keep it engaging, keep it
yeah,
exciting.
Absolutely. Anything you want to add before we get to our first segment, man?
No, I mean, like Dan just said, it's all going to be about what we can do to help bring the fan experience to this podcast. As much as it's about what we're talking about, what we're doing, it's really going to be about where you guys take us on this road and this journey every week.
Absolutely. All right, well, if it's okay with you, buddy, I'm going to get started with the first segment. It's a segment that we like to call the 6, 5, 3,